honestly, women are fucking amazing. Feminine energy is fucking amazing, and we need to remember this. Hello, my name is Katie Hunt, and I am a spiritual life coach for the spiritual girls, gays, and theys. And me and my vintage dress are here to talk to you today about the divine feminine and what the hell it is. Now, when we're talking about divine feminine, we're not talking about gender. We are talking about a feminine energy. There are both divine masculine and divine feminine energies on the planet. They're both valuable and both important, and we all have both of these energies within us. People tend to express one energy more often over the other. But the goal of us on this planet is to bring both divine feminine and divine masculine into harmony, which means living those energies naturally within us and not trying to push past them and force ourselves into one way of life over the other if it's not authentic. So divine feminine and divine masculine energies are so distinct that people are born into one sex and intuitively know that they are another gender altogether, and have to go through the whole transgender journey. So the divine feminine on this planet right now is very much wounded. When we think about the traditional role of a feminine energy, it's very meek, very quiet, very reserved, very this whole thing, and very much unexpressive. And a lot of us have a little bit of resistance around wanting to anchor in the divine feminine because all of these human ideas of what the divine feminine actually is. So some people do tend to fall mostly in the middle, not necessarily identifying with predominantly feminine or energy or masculine energy. But today I want to talk about feminine energy, and those of you who identify more with the divine feminine aspects of being, and what it means for you to express the divine feminine in your life. But if you fall somewhere in the middle and you are interested in learning in which activities you are expressing the divine feminine, stay tuned because we are going to talk about it. So when we are in our divine feminine, we are being. We are open and receptive and creative and sexual and intuitive. When we're in the divine masculine, we are doing. So as you can see, we need both divine feminine and divine masculine energies within us in order for us to participate on this earth plane. So once upon a time, there was a girl living in a man's world who very much subscribed to the masculine way of life. That girl was me. And I think it's because I grew up around so many men. And I just had to adapt into a more masculine persona in order to survive. So I realized over time as I began to grow and develop spiritually that I wasn't able to actually force myself to be masculine, that the harder that I would try to fit myself into this masculine box in order to thrive and be a part of society, the more that I tried to do that, the worse that it got, and the more my resistance would come up, and I just physically couldn't push past this place. And this happened to be continuously getting worse as I continuously became more and more awake and more in touch with my truth. Until one day fate would have it that I was in a session with a particular reader, and she had the audacity to look at me in the face and say that my twin flame relationship was not working because there were two masculine energies, and that if I wanted to move forward in this relationship, that I needed to step into my feminine energy. And I was very offended by this because how dare you? I am a proud, independent woman, and I will not become more feminine so that I can just be in a relationship with somebody. That is just bullshit. But that's not actually what she was saying. What she was saying is that I can become more empowered as a feminine, divine feminine on this planet if I step into that role and discover the true gifts that lie in the divine feminine and all of the abundance and beautiful opportunities that lie in that discovery of what divine feminine is and that eventual embodiment. So it really took me back, and this really was one of those moments, a pivotal moment in my life where I really had to think about my life and all of my belief systems that I had created around femininity. Because I grew up in such a masculine-centered environment, I had a lot of really negative belief systems about what being feminine was. And I discovered that I had this huge fear in what it meant to be feminine, and that I actually had a belief that feminine equals weakness. Being feminine equals weakness, which is really hard to say. And it was really hard to admit because that is absolutely not the case. Have you ever seen a woman give birth? Have you ever watched a mother just be a mother? Do you understand the amount of strength it takes to not like verbally abuse somebody who's disrespecting you? Like, honestly, women are fucking amazing. Feminine energy is fucking amazing, and we need to remember this. So, what is the divine feminine? The divine feminine is a being state. It is the divine mother. It is the goddess. And so each day I began to ask myself, how can I embody the goddess today? Or some days where I was really feeling it and I was really down in the dumps, I would just repeat to myself, I am the goddess. As a divine feminine, I wasn't happy subscribing to the masculine way of life. It was a human program that I adopted over time in order to survive in a masculine environment. But now, as a grown-up, empowered woman, I have the opportunity to step into my divine feminine power and help you do the same. The first step in embodying the divine feminine is to let go of what you believe it means to be feminine. It doesn't make you any more or less feminine to have children or to look feminine. Those things are not what we're talking about. We are talking about that aspect of the divine mother. So the divine feminine has so many different expressions, and I bet you most of them are very different from what you perceive in your mind when you think of the divine feminine. One aspect of the divine feminine is the nurturing mother. That is that big bellied Mother Earth. That is that very caring, nurturing, big open arms, wonderful mother. And then there's the dark mother, where is full-blown bad bitch energy. That is death and destruction. That is the void of creation. It's darkness. And if you are someone who is afraid of darkness, you got to really get to know the dark mother. Then on one side, we have rainbow woman. So that is creation, creativity, that is sexiness. And on the other side of that, we have crazy woman, who is a fire, chaos energy. She will go and blow a bunch of stuff up just for the fun of it. But she also teaches us about discernment and our boundaries. So you'll notice that these 4 different expressions of divine feminine don't incorporate shame or guilt or shyness or meekness or I'm sorryness. These women, these divine goddesses, these embodiments of the divine goddess are all empowered. They all know that they're the shit and they are not apologizing for it. And each aspect of the divine mother is confident in who she is. The divine mother is beautiful and wonderful and flawed, but she loves herself because she is flawed. She's fine to have a bad day and to let herself feel the darkness and feel the pit of anxiety and fear, but she knows that she can get herself out of it and that she loves herself through it. The divine mother creates things and then also needs to nurture the sides of her that are crazy and want to go wild. The divine mother might have a breakdown. She might have some destruction in her wake, but she loves herself through it and knows that she is not perfect and that is not the role of her being here. She is beautiful, whole, and complete as she is. And I want that same embodiment for you. So, next week, I will be posting a video about how to begin to heal the divine feminine so that you can express it more fully. But between then and now, I want you to begin to ask yourself this question. Do I have resistance or judgment around femininity? What fears do I have around embodying my divine feminine? What stories do I have around feminine energy? And if you want a bonus, How can I embody the goddess energy today? So thank you so much for being with me all the way to the end. Please do reach out to me if you are ready to fully step into this divine feminine aspect of you. I know it is beautiful and bold, and I cannot wait to help you express it more deeply. So if that feels good for you, please go to my website, katiehunt.ca, to book yourself in for a discovery call. And while you're there, be sure to grab the free energy clearing meditation that will blow your socks off in the best way possible. Also, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that we can grow this channel and continue my plans for feminine world domination. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.